Hello everybody and welcome to week number 2. Again, this is another video to give you a more specific overview of just 1 week, breaking down what is expected on each assignment, just to again help you out, follow these directions, and you should see a definite impact on your overall grade. So in week number 2, the lecture is about providing and receiving feedback. So that is really just helping you learn the expectations for when you are responding to people in the discussion area, when they are responding to you, how you can react, and also a skill, of course, you can use throughout life. And then if you move on to the discussion for this week, this is revolving around the last week's lecture about the different career theorists. This week you are breaking down one more specifically. So based on your starting letter of your last name, you can see A through H is Holland, I through P is Supers, and Q through Z is Gottfriedsen's theory of circumscription and compromise. So basically you're breaking down those specific theories. That way you can get more in detail. So when you are sharing in the initial post, make sure you're summarizing the main tenets of the assigned theory. Make sure if you're going to summarize that theory in 1 or 2 sentences, what is it all about? That's what they're looking for when they're asking for the main tenets. Then they're asking for you to assign theory makes a person employable. Basically asking you why something in that theory or an idea from that theory actually makes you, once you're aware of that concept, makes you be able to become more employable, a better person, a better fit for any particular job. And lastly, you're describing the skills that you possess already to help you actually get a job after analyzing those skills and how they connect to the assigned theory. So it's a 3-part question. And make sure, again, when you are posting your discussion, it is done by Wednesday, your initial post by Wednesday. This is incredibly important as we move through to week 3. So we're getting into the habit of that right now. That is going to impact your discussion grade, and of course then week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, your actual assignments grade as well. Okay. All right, so then you have 2 other assignments this week. One is the career development plan, career narrative, and then the reflection. Let's break down the career development plan. So I'll get very specific with this one because it's our first real written assignment. Okay. There are bare minimums here, as it says in the direction, 1 to 2 page. So it means at least a page. It needs to go on to a second page for you just to get that bare minimum credit of doing the assignment. Okay. You would then have to answer each individual part of this question to get full credit. There are quite a bit of different parts to this question. So what I suggest you do, for me it helps if I take that question, copy and paste it into the actual Word document that I'm going to be typing the answer on. Okay, and that way I can answer each individual part of the question, and then I erase the question before submitting the final job. This is really important. A lot of times people do this, right? So they have the question here. So the first part of the second section here says, what minimal education requirements are needed to get an entry-level job in your field? So what I would do is right after that, I would actually start typing in my answer right there. Say this is my answer. I would type that all out. Okay. So now I know I answered that part of the question. Then I would erase that part of the question and get rid of it. Okay, so I know that part of the question is done. Then I would answer the next part of the question. Is additional education necessary to get promoted? Boom. Again, I'm just typing crazy here to show you what it might look like. And then I am going to erase that part of the question and backspace it. And so now it's part of that paragraph, right? So a lot of time what people do is they do this where they post the question so they don't miss anything, but they don't erase the question. So when you do a final draft of an essay, you need to make sure that you erase the questions. But posting the questions here on a doc like that helps you understand that you're not going to miss any individual questions. Okay, type in the answers, erase the questions, backspace it, and put it into a final paragraph. Because each section here, the education networking, the career-specific knowledge and skills, and the professionalism. Those are also all going to be about 100 to 150 word paragraph. Each one should be its own individual paragraph. You indent, you got your own paragraph. If it's a lot of information, you can make one section into two paragraphs if that fits better for you. Okay. I've highlighted just some key points here that I want to make sure that I've answered, whatever it takes, just so you make sure you're not missing points. So that's just really in the past where I've seen students miss out on points. It's best just not by answering each question. Not that they maybe didn't know the answer, just because they forgot to do one part. Okay. Another thing in this item here is that at the end of each paragraph, this last part here says, please write a sentence or two that explains how you will gain the knowledge or skill. So if your education and networking is asking about professional organizations and talking to people within your profession, your last sentence or two should say that how you're going to go about getting in contact with people in your field. How, for career specific knowledge and skills for part B, how are you going to gain those career specific? Is it in college where you are right now? Professionalism, again, the last sentence of those, or two sentences of that paragraph, is explaining how you will gain those skills in that area. Okay, so 3 separate paragraphs answering each individual question as you combine them to one solid paragraph answer. Get rid of all the questions and all this other stuff that you copied and paste in your final draft, and your last sentence or two should explain how you will gain the knowledge or skills that you need for each of those sections. All right, so when you submit that, I will make comments on how you did. I will let you know if if you're not formatting something correctly, or if you are missing questions. The big thing is to go back on my comments. If you don't understand something, please let me know. But a lot of them are pretty straightforward, and then hopefully you're learning from those areas. So, you'll have strengths and areas that need to improve, and hopefully by week 2 all the way to week 7, you're not making those same mistakes. So make sure you're going back and checking out the comments that I've made on your assignments. The second assignment for this week is the reflection, which is a reflection on the career development theories. Okay, so this one you're going to cover each 3 of them. In the discussion, you got deep into one. Here you're covering a little bit about each. Same thing I would do is copy and paste your question into a document and make sure you have everything. In total, this is just a 150-word narrative summarizing what you learned in the lecture and discussion about the 3 theories. So you should basically have the major tenets, as that's what was posted in the discussion of each of the theories. Okay. In Donald Super's theory, it says this, and you go through each one and list the major tenets, okay? And then the next part is your own opinion, which theory you believe is most important, influential in explaining career selection and progression. You should tell me which theory, and you should also explain why. You don't want to say Donald Super's theory. That's not really enough of an answer. You want to explain why, what in the theory makes you feel the way you do. Detail whether you think there was anything wrong or missing from the theories you learned about. If your answer is no, again, that's fine, but a one-word answer would not cut it here. You need to explain. It covered everything that was important, such as everything that was in there was correct, such as just to be able to explain that for full credit. And finally, considering all 3 theories, describe the workplace skills and capabilities that are necessary for employment. So that kind of goes back to what you listed in this area here, career-specific knowledge and skills. The items you listed in there are similar to what you're going to list in this last part here. And that should give you plenty of information to get yourself 150 words. Okay? So if any questions this week on specifically what is needed, please let me know. Reach out to me. But I should break it down to you pretty wide ranging, helping you out. Again, if something doesn't work for you, don't do it. Some of my techniques work for you and it will improve your grade. Please make sure you do them. Either way, discussions by Wednesday, your initial post by Wednesday. And good luck. Please let me know if you have any questions.